forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stuck in the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening the gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's the calling you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. We're picking you up, we're ready to go. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's do this, guys. Let's make this happen. We are Emergency Management Associates, guys. We're on the case 24/7 in case something happens. We're here for all of you 24/7. If something happens when we're not on the air, as soon as the information becomes available, we'll bring it to you live from Emergency Management Associates headquarters, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Big, North Carolina, in the Area Command. Welcome to our show tonight, guys. We're glad to have you here. Yes, we're coming on the air at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today here on the East Coast. We've got a lot of information for you. We're going to get right into it right now. A lot of information here, guys. Please be here and please pay attention because we're going to go through it fast. We're not going to have time to go back through it again and again. So please, please pay attention to what we're talking about. Number one, the Senate. The United States Senate has approved funding for TSA. Now, because the bill was drafted from an original document from the House of Representatives and other things were added to it, it has to go back to the House for approval, and they were supposed to approve it this afternoon. So hopefully the House approved it this afternoon. That's going to the President's desk for his signature, we hope. Now, the President has also ordered the new Secretary of Homeland Security to pay TSA regardless. So we'll see what happens. Either way, sometime probably within the next 72 to 98 hours, I hope TSA will have the funding they need to do what they have to do in the airports. Needless to say, ICE is already there, also helping out the remaining TSA people that are already working there. Hopefully the other TSA employees will come back. Some 300 TSA employees had tendered their resignations because Congress, all of them are responsible. Congress didn't fund them. The Democrats reneged on the funding and it upended the agency. You can blame the Democrats for all that. Now we have another breaking story we want to remind you about tonight. Big time story, guys. Big time story. What am I talking about? Okay. What do you think I'm talking about? A man planted an IED on an Air Force base in Florida. This is a story in front of you right now. Let's play this clip for you.
That, folks. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Greg Keogh. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Florida. We're here to discuss the bombing investigation coming out of McDill Air Force Base. Before we go into some of the circumstances and the charges that have been filed, I'd like to introduce the individuals that are here with us today. To my immediate right is Special Agent in Charge Matthew Fodor of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. To his right is the Special Agent in Charge for the Office of Special Investigations for the United States Air Force, Larry Runk. To my far left is Detective Justin Wolverton of the St. Pete PD. To his right is the Commissioner of FDLE, Martin Glass. To my right behind me, to the right of Commissioner Glass, is Major Eric DeFelice of the Tampa Police Department. And over to the right is Captain Kim Killian of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. All of these various entities were significantly involved in the investigations that I am about to discuss with you. And what we're talking about, of course, is the bombing investigation.
Buy one 72-hour survival.
Sorry, guys, I can't allow this video to go right here. Let's get into it right here.
That have happened over the recent weeks. As you know, everybody in this room knows that McDill Air Force Base is the headquarters for the Central Command, Special Operations Command, and the Air Mobility Command of the United States Air Force. Oh, extremely, extremely important assets for the Department of War that are obviously involved in ongoing operations in the Middle East and elsewhere. What we'd like to talk about is the bomb that was planted in the McDill Air Force Base on the 10th of March, 2026. And I will go through that, and I will talk to you about a subsequent investigation and the two investigations on Knot 26. Alan Zhang planted an improvised explosive device. Often we will hear it terminology in the IED. For those who have covered bombings in the Middle East will know by that terminology. He placed it outside the visitor center at the Air Force Base in Tampa. The device did not detonate, but minutes after the device was planted, a 911 call reported that a bomb had been placed on the base. When that phone call came in, no location for that bomb was in fact given in that 911 call. The McDill personnel searched the base and the entire base and did not find a device at that time. The next day, the individual who placed that bomb, Alan Zhang, and his sister made plans to flee to China. On March 11th, Zhang and his sister purchased tickets to China and sold the vehicle that was used by the defendant, Alan Zhang, to bring the improvised explosive device from his home to the visitor center at McDill. What we're going to take you through right now is the remarkably quick and efficient work that took place by these law enforcement officers to identify the individual involved and to apprehend that individual involved. And let me say this, that before the device was, the law enforcement was brought in to take the device on March the 12th of 2026, Alan Zhang and his sister, Anne Mary Zhang, fled to the People's Republic of China. So by the 12th, they were gone. On the 16th of March, Air Force Base Security found the device in question secluded. They immediately contacted law enforcement, and law enforcement, the gentlemen that you see, ladies and gentlemen that you see before you, responded. The FBI safely removed the device and determined it was in fact an IED. Less than 24 hours later, the agents identified the IME number for the phone used in the 911 call. And those of you familiar with the IME number, it's an International Mobile Environment Identification number. That's more than you want to know, but it is essentially a digital footprint for that phone number. When they did that, they identified that digital footprint as belonging to Zhang, and that Zhang had purchased that phone at Best Buy. These agents and law enforcement officers then got the film from Best Buy in the videotape. They identified Zhang purchasing that telephone at Best Buy, and that he had driven the SUV in question to that location. In conjunction with that, at literally the same time, law enforcement, TPD, and other entities were identifying the vehicle and placing it at that location on the evening of March the 10th. So what we have in approximately 24 hours is all this evidence coalescing very, very quickly because of this great police work to identify Zhang, the individual in question, Miss Zhang. The vessel, the vehicle in question clearly was consistent with what was observed on film coming out of McDill Air Force Base. On the 17th, Ann Chang, the sister, came back to the United States. The defendant, Alan Chang, has not returned. On March the 18th, less than 2 days after identifying Zhang, the search warrant was obtained by the FBI to search Zhang's home, and they found IED components consistent with the bomb that had been placed at McDill Air Force Base. The agent spoke with Zhang's mother as well as the defendant, Ann Zhang, and both of them conceded that they knew that Zhang had told them, Alan Zhang had told them, that they planted the bomb at McDill Air Force Base. The culpability of Anne Marie Zhang, what did she do? She helped the defendant Zhang flee and destroy evidence. She, of course, with her mother, bought plane tickets for China, but also, and Anne Marie Zhang accompanied him, but also the bomb is placed on the 10th, they left on the 12th. On the 11th, they attempted to destroy evidence by selling the automobile involved to CarMax. They sold it the day after they placed the bomb.
Want to flush out its swollen legs? Stop doing this first.
Of course, having been used to transport the IED, the law enforcement and the FBI were trying to determine if there was, in fact, additional evidence at CarMax to determine if that vehicle had been used or to corroborate what had been told to them by Anne Marie Zhang. And although the vehicle had been vacuumed and had been cleaned, there were traces of items that were residue for the IED, and it was consistent with the IED that was picked up. So, while they attempted to clean the vehicle, they didn't do the job well enough. And, of course, immediately thereafter, the lab reports came back notifying law enforcement that this was, in fact, an improvised explosive device. Separate and apart from this investigation, we have an investigation involving Jonathan James Elder. Now, 2 days after the IED is found at McDill Air Force Base, a call comes in to the McDill Air Force Base, a threatening phone call, and the caller said, "How do you like the surprise at McDill Visitor Center?" Then yelled, "Tick, tick, tick, it's going to be you between the eyes," and various explicit conduct that I won't, comments that I won't go into, but are set forth in the criminal complaint. He then made another phone call, and then he said, "Did you enjoy your pipe bomb at the front gate of McDill? If there anything else I can do for you, that's why you are entitled to," expletive, "you brat. Now I told you to try that with my meds. I told you that last year," et cetera, et cetera. All of that conversation on the threatening phone call had come in with Mr. Elder. Based on that phone call, FBI agents received and reviewed the phone call data, the historical cell site data, the Facebook account information, and they identified Mr. Elder as the caller of that. On the evening of March the 18th, this all came to their attention on the 18th. On the evening of March the 18th, the FBI, in conjunction with the assistance of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office and the St. Pete Police Department, arrested Mr. Elder at his location where he was staying at a care facility. Mr. Elder, as you can see from the complaint, has had some emotional and mental difficulties, but nevertheless he was put into Baker Acted for several days, and he has been since taken into custody and charged. So today we have 3 indictments before you. Alan Zhang, he's charged with attempted damage of government property by explosive, making a destructive device, and possession of a destructive device. He faces 40 years. Anne Mary Zhang, his sister, is charged with being an accessory after the fact, tampering with evidence. She faces 30 years. And Mr. Elder is charged with making a threat of an explosive, and he faces 10 years. These investigations are ongoing. I know that the question that's going to be asked, the investigation hasn't ended. We are exploring any number of leads to see anyone and everyone that is involved in this matter will be brought to justice.
Okay, that's where I'm going to pull this right now. There's all kinds of stories here. You can continue watching this story on YouTube. Florida man flees to China after planning an IED at McDill Air Force Base. It's on YouTube. We can go on and play this at another time, but I'm not going to end it right now. I'm going to end this part right now. Now, there's more information as well that we talked about here in the idea of this video. There's been a great deal of movement on the New Madrid Fault. All kinds of movement today on the New Madrid Fault. Before we get to that, last night, I gave you evidence of movement over at Hanford Nuclear Power Plant in Washington State. The Hanford nuclear site is still active, still radiating. This is what happened here, okay? This was several years ago. This is at the grout plant, the wet grout plant on Hanford nuclear site in Washington State several years ago. The dates are here at the top. Okay, now I'm going to enlarge this so you can truly see what I'm talking about here. Okay, look at the title here. Grout EHZ-UW. This is from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, dated March 22nd, 5 years ago, 2021, 5 years ago. Look at all the activity here. First off, it starts off with the harmonic tremors here. Then it goes into full-blown earthquake activity at the nuclear plant. Unreal, guys. This is seismic energy that tipped over those radioactive containers in the mountain at Hanford Nuclear Plant. Then what happens? Those containers leaked into the ground. This power plant is right next to the Columbia River. They built this plant right next to the Columbia River because it had plenty of cold water to help cool the plant. Now, the earthquakes happen here. They tipped over the nuclear containers in the mountain at Hanford. Look at all this activity here. Upwards of 4.5, 5.0 activity. Large seismic activity here. You can see it here on the graph. The seismograph. It's not the only thing that happened here. Let me show you more. There's a lot more. This is also the grout plant on May 18th, 2021, right here. Look at this. More activity here. Okay. Then the same plant, the wet grout plant on November 25th, 2020, right there. Here you can see harmonic tremors here. You can also see minor earthquakes and 3.0 activity here on the seismograph. All over here. Okay. Then, April 7th, 2021, the same grout plant right here. Look at that. Again, we have these harmonic tremors happening. Then the earthquakes start happening here during the nighttime. Earthquakes start happening here during the nighttime. Okay, this started happening at about 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. Look at that. Okay, yet when I talked about this, when I brought this up, the state senators and the U.S. senators from Washington and Utah said, oh, we're looking into it. Oh, don't be worried. Nothing's happening there. That's what they told me. I gave you that information back in 2020, 2021, and 2022 when I was investigating this. Still ongoing. Then on December 10th, 2020, let me show you this. December 10th, 2020. Again, the seismogram here at the top left-hand side is 4 p.m. Pacific time. Starts off again with harmonic tremors here. Then look what happens. Just after 9:43 p.m. that night, they turned off the seismograph. They've done it many times before. We've shown you that information before. Then, later that morning, after 7 a.m., they turned it back on. Look at the earthquakes here. 4.5, 5.0 earthquakes here, possibly even larger earthquakes than that. Look at that. This is what happened. This is what turned over or turned the containers inside the mountain that leaked the nuclear sludge into the ground at the Hanford plant. I told you last night I was going to show you this. This should be very concerning to everybody involved here. On May 17, 2021, at the Hanford Red Mountain, this is where they stored the product, those sludge containers from the nuclear site. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Let me reduce it in size just a little bit. Up at the top, all we have here are microquakes and tremors. That's it. But almost every day, starting about 7 a.m. in the morning, all of a sudden the seismograph starts recording information. Now, what have I said before? When the seismologists decided they were going to leave for the day, they turned off or turned down the seismograph itself, turned down the ability of the machine to put out information. That's what I believe happened here. They left it running, but all it recorded were tremors. Then, early in the morning when they came back, they turned the seismograph back up. This is what was recording. All of a sudden, we not only had tremors, but we had full-blown earthquakes. This first one on this red line here, this is after approximately 8:20 in the morning. On this red line, we have a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. You see 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, 3.0 earthquakes on this particular seismogram all throughout the rest of the morning. This is what happened there. It's recorded. But guess what? They've also since ceased reporting this. They took it off their archives. They took it down off their archives. You can't retrieve this material again. Can't get this information because they shut it down. They essentially shut it down. I'm not done. On May 17, 2022, look at this. Look at this, guys. All kinds of mumbo jumbo here. Yes, we see some tremors here, but it's all mumbo jumbo. They messed with the seismograph itself. You can plainly see this on the seismograph. They messed with it. All morning long, they messed with it. All it is recording for the very basic time was tremors and microquakes here. All the other data here are just abstract, what they call abstract, which doesn't mean anything. Nothing. May 17th, South Mountain Hanford Power Plant 2022, May 17th, 2022. Incredible, huh? Then right near Hanford, Snively, they had a seismograph located at Snively near Hartford Power Plant, January 18th, 2021. This is what was showing. Look at this activity here. This should be concerning to everybody, guys. Everybody. 5 years ago, January 18th, 2021. Seismic activity here, guys. This is what I was talking about last night. On today's seismographs, they're hardly putting out any information. They either have turned it down, turned the seismograph down where it's not recording everything, or they are lying, erasing, and downgrading the seismograph. So it's not putting out any information. Okay? This is what they're doing. Last one I have here was March 29th, 5 years ago. March 29th, 2021, this was put out to the public. This was general knowledge to the public from PNSN. Again, the top of this seismogram was 5 p.m. on the left-hand side the day before, on March 28th. The bottom of it was March 29th, 2021, 5 years ago. Earthquakes, guys. Earthquakes continuing at Hanford Nuclear Power Plant in Hanford, Washington. Okay? We've talked about this before on this channel. I wanted to make this known to you because you have a right to know what's going on. I showed you activity last night, current activity. It doesn't come anywhere close to what it is now. We all know, and I've shown you the activity before, but they alter the seismograms. They alter the seismograph itself so it doesn't put out information. When they go home at night especially, they turn the seismographs down so it doesn't put out any information that they would be embarrassed about when they come back in the next morning. That's what these people do. Not just at Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. USGS does the same thing. We've caught them at it before. Okay? Again, we put this out on the program back in 2020 and 2021 when I found this information out. We talked then about the extensive investigation that I did, talking to congressmen and senators in Washington and also in Utah. They said, don't worry about it. We've already looked at it, or we are looking at it. I never heard back from them again. Okay? I want you to know what's going on. That's why I'm showing this to you. You have a right to know. You have every right to know what's going on here. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about those seismograms I showed you from Hanford? Anybody have any questions or comments about those seismograms from Hanford? Now, Rich Quake is a friend of mine from Nova Scotia, Canada. He's on the chat today. We appreciate him being here. He's giving you information about present-day earthquakes that are happening as we come here. Okay? Anyway, Rich Quake is going to have some missionaries from the church calling him shortly, so he's probably going to be leaving us, but we appreciate you, Rich, for being here. Thank you for being here, guy. God bless you, bro. Appreciate you a lot. Anyway, guys, we're going to come back to this in just a minute. Okay? Now, I told you in the topic of this program that we've had a lot of earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault today. Okay? I also put together a program showing you earthquakes on the East Coast as well. But first, I want to address the earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault today. Okay? This is it. This is it. This is one of the seismograms that I picked up from the seismographs from Catfish Pond, Arkansas. This is Catfish Pond, Arkansas, guys. Up at the top of this, up at the top of the seismograph on the top line here, this is 12 midnight last night. From 12 midnight to about 8 a.m. this morning, tremors, only tremors, guys, only tremors here. Then, okay, I want to show you this. After 10:15 over on the left-hand side on the red line, 10:15, excuse me, we go over here to the right. This red earthquake here is a 3.0 earthquake, 3.0, 3.1 earthquake. It lasted 20 seconds. 20 seconds of small shaking here at Catfish Pond, Arkansas. 20 seconds of small shaking here. Numerous 3.0 earthquakes back to back. Prior to that, we had tremors. After that, we had more minor earthquakes and tremors as well. Minor earthquakes ranging from 2.0 to 2.5 in nature, then downgrading after that to tremors and microquakes after that. But 3.0, 3.1 earthquake hit in Catfish Pond, Arkansas at about 10:21 a.m. this morning. Ongoing, guys. We have more information here. This is ongoing, okay? This is Catfish Pond, Arkansas this afternoon. Look at this. Earthquakes didn't stop, did they? Over on the right-hand side here, the top left-hand side is 12 noon. Over here on the right-hand side, now we are at 12:09, 12:10 p.m. this afternoon. Here we have 3.3 small earthquakes. 3.3 small earthquakes lasting 2 minutes. 2 minutes of shaking here. How would you guys have liked to been here on the Mississippi River area on the New Madrid Fault at Catfish Pond, Arkansas today? 2 minutes of 3.0, 3.1, maybe 3.2 shaking here. It didn't stop. Didn't stop. It continued with tremors until after 12:43 p.m. this afternoon. At 12:43, we had tremors again and minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes. Then, all of a sudden, we have at least 3.3 activity. 3.3 activity. Notice on this particular sequence here, this earthquake is naturally cut off at the top because it goes off the graph here. But the bottom of this earthquake has also been cut off, meaning this earthquake was substantially larger than what they are showing here. This earthquake here is substantially larger than they're showing here. This is at least a 3.5, maybe even upwards of a 4.0 earthquake this afternoon. It didn't stop. The shaking continued after 12:30 on the blue line on the left-hand side. 12:30, continued shaking. Then it went down, the seismograph, or the earthquake size went down to minor earthquakes again, 2.2, 2.4, 2.5, 2.7. Then it goes right back up to 3.0 earthquakes at approximately 12:31 this afternoon. Look at that. Then tremor activity after that. Now, since I have pulled this seismograph here, after 2:35 this afternoon, actually it's longer than that, 2:40 this afternoon, we may have had more big earthquakes here. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Now, I want to take you over to Dell, Arkansas again, this time this morning. Dell, Arkansas this morning, right here. Look at this. All morning long, the seismograph didn't even put up any tremors, earthquakes at all. At all. We had some very minor tremors after about 6:30 this morning. That's all. 6:30 this morning. Then we only had this activity this afternoon, later this morning, after 11:30 this morning. Just before 11:31, just after 11:31, we had some tremors between 11:31, 11:32, 11:33, and right before 11:34, we had some larger tremors, 1.5, 1.7 tremors. Then all of a sudden, we had another 3.0 earthquake again. Another 3.0 earthquake again. Dell, Arkansas this time. Dell, Arkansas. Let's continue, guys. Let's take a look at Hatachikoon, Arkansas. Hatachikoon, Arkansas here. Look at this. Hatachikoon, Arkansas. Early this morning at midnight, after midnight, nothing happened, but it's just tiny tremors here. What happened after 6:15 this morning on this red line here? Over on this red line here, we are at approximately 6:23, 6:24 this morning. Another 3.0 earthquake. All the rest of this is minor tremors and minor earthquakes here. Minor tremors and 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. The rest of the morning. We're not done. We just started here. Hatachikoon, Arkansas this afternoon. Tremors continuing. Don't stop. You're not feeling these tremors in Hatachikoon, Arkansas right now because they're just tremors. But the seismic activity is not stopped on the New Madrid fault. Now, just briefly, let's take this down. Okay? I'm going to take it down for just a minute. I want to show you something else here. Okay? I've shown you the activity on the New Madrid fault so far today. So far. Let's go over to the USGS map here. What's going on there? Not a thing. Not a thing is going on here. I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down our webcam here. Want you to see what's going on here. Okay? I'm going to move this map over to the New Madrid fault area. Right now it's up here in the North Pacific here, Northwestern Pacific. Let's move it over to the New Madrid fault area. Guess what? They're not showing any activity except for this. This just happened. This just happened a short time ago. This is 1.5 near Risco, Missouri. Near Risco, Missouri. This happened at approximately 3:15 this afternoon, Risco, Missouri. This is not up here earlier. This is the only earthquake activity at all the USGS has listed on the New Madrid fault. They're not showing anything. They're not showing comparatively anything here. Not up north here in Illinois. Nothing further down here to the Gulf of America. Nothing. Not a thing. What I'm going to show you now is evidence of seismic activity up and down the entire fault line. Up and down the entire fault line, guys. It's happened. It's continuing to happen. Okay? That was at Hatachikoon, Arkansas this afternoon. Let's go over to Little River. Little River, right near Little Rock. Right near Little Rock. Look at this. All we are showing here at Little River are minor tremors here. Minor tremors. At some point during the morning, we had some minor earthquakes. Microquakes. Microquakes, guys. That's all that's being shown here. Nothing more. Okay? Little River, Arkansas. Little River, Arkansas this afternoon, the same thing. Okay? Then we go over to Manila, Arkansas. Manila, South Arkansas. Look at this, guys. Again, look what they're not showing us earlier this morning after midnight. Very little of nothing. Almost nothing. Then, just before 7 a.m. this morning, all of a sudden they're going to show us some tremors. Just tiny tremors here. That's it. What happens after 8 a.m.? What happens after 8 a.m.? 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes start occurring. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes start occurring here at Manila, South Arkansas. Unreal. Literally crazy. 3 hours of 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in South Manila, Arkansas. Yet USGS tries to tell us nothing happened. I'm showing you the original seismograms, showing you what's going on here. Okay? They're not showing it. They're not going to show it. South Manila, Arkansas this afternoon, more tremors here. Okay? Then, let's go over to one of the places that always has 3.0 earthquakes all day long, 7 days a week, Mark Tree, Arkansas. Mark Tree, Arkansas here, guys. Look here. At the top black line here, we have tremors. On the next red line, we have more tremors until we get to the end of that red line. Okay? About 12:43 this morning, we had some tremors and larger tremors after that to 2.0 earthquakes. Why? Look at the left side of this seismogram. Starting at 12:30, we had 2.5, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. Then we had some small 3.0 earthquake activity here. 2 minutes of 3.0 activity here. 3.0 small earthquakes. Okay? After 1:15 this morning, on the left-hand side, all we see are tiny tremors. But on the right, what happens? What happens? 12:42, 12:43 this morning, we have more tremors. Tremors building up to 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes. Then at 1:31 this morning, 1:31 this morning, we have more 3.0 earthquakes here. These 3.0 earthquakes continue for 3 minutes here. 3 minutes. 1:31, 1:32, 1:33 until 1:43 this morning. Or 1:34, I'm sorry, 1:34 this morning. Look at that. Now, guys, we've seen this happen before at Mark Tree, Arkansas. This is over in northern Arkansas. Now, at approximately 1:40 this morning, we started having tremors again to build up to minor earthquakes. 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes. Minor tremors and minor earthquakes are felt. Then at 2:13, actually 2:12, 2:13, 2:14 this morning, we had more 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes. Again, on the black line here on the right-hand side. Then what happens after 2:45 this morning? On the green line here. Okay? We go over to 2:46, 2:47, 2:48, we started having some tremors. 2:49, those tremors turned into 3.0 earthquakes again. 2 minutes of seismic activity here. 2 minutes of 3.0, 2.9 activity here. What happens after 3:15 on this red line here? The next red line. Okay? At approximately 3:18 this morning, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 tremors. All of a sudden, those tremors turned into 2.9 earthquakes. Then that turns into 3.0, 3.2 earthquakes after that, within a very short time period. Then we have 3.0 earthquakes for about 45 seconds. Then we have minor earthquakes after that, 2.0 to 2.9 earthquakes here. Incredible, huh? It really is. Really is. Then after 5:30 this morning on the next blue line here. Okay? Approximately 5:37, 38 this morning, we had some tremors and 2.6, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes here. Then it quieted down the rest of the morning until we get down here after 9:30. 9:30, 9:45, they start again. Look at that. 9:50 this morning, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes on the green line, turning into more 3.0 small earthquakes here. These earthquakes continue after 10 a.m. this morning on the left-hand side, 3.0 earthquakes there. More seismic activity in the center of this diagram, not the center, but on the center bottom part on the black line. Another 3.0 earthquake, approximately about 1:08, or not 11:08, 10:08 this morning. 10:08 this morning on the black line. On the next red line, seismic activity kicks in about 10:15, 10:16, 10:17, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 10:23 this morning, more 3.0 small earthquakes here. These earthquakes continue off and on the rest of the morning here, from 9:45 until 12 noon here, Martree, Arkansas. This is pretty much normal for every day, Martree, Arkansas. This afternoon, earthquakes continue here. On the top center on the black line, we have tremor activity here. On the next red line, more tremor activity. On the blue line after 1:30 in the afternoon today, 1:34 p.m. this afternoon. Prior to that, we had some tremor activity. 10:34 or 1:34 this afternoon, 3.0 earthquake activity. Nearly a minute and a half of 3.0 activity here. Now, notice this. They cut off the bottom and the top of this earthquake sequence here. They cut it off. These earthquakes may have been even larger than 3.0. 3.2, 3.3 earthquakes, probably. Okay? Seismic activity didn't stop just at Martree, Arkansas. It didn't. It continued. Let's go to West Memphis, Arkansas. On the east or on the west side of the Mississippi River in Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas, at the South Community College in West Memphis, Arkansas today. Look what happened here. We had tremors and we had some minor earthquakes here. Up at the top on the red line here. On the red line. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. On this red line, that would be 12:20 this afternoon. This would be a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake there. All the rest of this activity appears to be just tremors and minor earthquakes. That's all. This is along the Mississippi River, on the New Madrid Fault, just east of Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay? Now let's back this off and go up to the center part of Arkansas to the north central Arkansas. What are we going to show you now? This is Ozark Folk Center, north central Arkansas. At the top, all you see here are microquakes and maybe 1.0 tremors here. But after 1:41 this morning, 1:41 this afternoon, 2.5, 2.6 earthquake there. Then more tremors, lots of tremors here. Lots and lots of tremors. After 5:15 on this red line here, come over here to the right. 5:21 this morning, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake there. 5:29 this morning. Look at the rest of this activity here. Yes, we have tremors here. All the rest of this activity is all minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.6, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes here. Minor earthquakes here. This is Tyrone, Arkansas. Tyrone, Arkansas. Interesting, huh? It really is. Okay? Seismic activity moves, doesn't it? Surely does. All over the place here. Literally all over. Okay? We're not done. We're not done at all. Let's go to Truman, Arkansas now. Truman, Arkansas. This is south of Marktree. This is south of Marktree, Arkansas. Here you see long duration tremors building into minor earthquakes here. Long duration tremor activity building into earthquakes. 2.0, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes here. Then we come down here later this morning. After 10:10 this morning, all of a sudden we have 2.6, 2.7, building up to 3.0 activity after 10:11 this morning. 3.0 earthquake at 10:11 this morning here in Truman, Arkansas, south of Marktree. South of Marktree. Craziness, huh? Absolutely is. Then we go south to Twist, Arkansas, southern Arkansas. Look at this, guys. This should keep you wondering what's going on here. Twist, Arkansas, early this morning, all we have here are tremors and maybe one minor 2.0 earthquake just after 1 a.m. Then nothing happens at all until we get down here after approximately 7:44 a.m. this morning on the blue line. 7:44 a.m. this morning on the blue line. All of a sudden we have 2.7, 2.8 activity on the blue line on the right-hand side. Prior to that, all we have is tremors there. Then we drop to the next green line on the left-hand side. All those minor earthquake activity after 1044 continued to 1046, 1047, 1048 to 1049 this morning. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of 2.8, 2.9, possibly building into 3.0 activity here. We may have had 3.0 small earthquake activity after about 10:48 this morning. 10:48, 10:49 this morning. Small seismic activity. Then we have more tremors here. More tremors after 10 o'clock this morning. 11 a.m. this morning. What happens? Nothing. 11 a.m., nothing. But 11:30, it starts again. Look at the blue line here. It's almost obliterated by the green line after that. The blue line here is 10:30 a.m. in the morning. Or I'm sorry, not 10:30, 11:30 a.m. this morning. For 15 minutes. 15 long minutes. We have 3.0 earthquake activity, small seismic activity. Small earthquakes happen for 15 minutes. Some of those 3.0 dipped into 2.6, 2.7 as well. Minor earthquakes. From small to minor earthquakes. Then what happens after 11:45 this morning on the green line here? On the green line. All of a sudden this morning, 11:45 this morning, we have 3.0 and minor earthquake activity. Goes back and forth between 3.0 small earthquake activity to minor 2.8, 2.9 activity here. How long does it last? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. 8 minutes long of seismic activity here, guys. Compared to 15 minutes before that, unreal. Now, we've had 23 to 24 minutes of seismic activity. Most of it can be felt. 23 or 24 minutes of seismic activity, and some of this activity can be felt here at Twist, Arkansas. How about Twist, Arkansas this afternoon? Right here. After that, all that activity died and went into nothing more than tremors here this afternoon. Tremors that cannot be felt. This is alongside the west side of the New Madrid Fault. The west side of the New Madrid Fault here. Craziness. Craziness. Torrance, Arkansas here. Look at this. Here this morning, we had some tiny tremors and minor earthquakes here, microquakes. At approximately 1:40 this morning on the blue line, 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Then we drop down here to 5:15. We pull over here to the right, we have 5:20 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake, minor earthquake. Then more tremors here. Then we have tremors and minor earthquakes the rest of the morning here in Torrance, Arkansas. The biggest earthquake this morning here is after 9:40 this morning on the red line here. 9:40 this morning on the red line here. That's a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake here. Unreal. Torrance, Arkansas this afternoon, no. Torrance, Arkansas this afternoon. Look at this. Tremors here. Lots of tremors here after 12 noon. We dropped down to 115, 116, 117 this afternoon. 117 this afternoon, we have a 2.3 earthquake here. Then after 2:41 this afternoon, here we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. The seismic activity lasted about 10 or 12 seconds here. Wasn't felt. Just minor tremor activity, minor earthquake activity here. Tremors are 1.0, 1.9. Minor earthquakes are 2.0, 2.9. Okay? Can't be felt. But here in Tyronza, earthquakes. Earthquake skies. Now, in the past, we've also talked about earthquakes up in Illinois. They are still happening today. Look at this morning's earthquake activity here in Decatur, Illinois. Decatur, Illinois, guys, they're having minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. They're having 3.0, 3.5 small earthquakes here. Literally all day long here. This is all morning long here. All morning long in Decatur, Illinois. Look at these earthquakes. These earthquakes have been happening now for almost 2 months. Earthquakes here in Decatur have been happening almost 2 months now. How about Decatur, Illinois this afternoon? Right here. They're continuing. They're continuing. At some point in time, they turned into tremors and minor earthquakes here. Some point in time, they turned into tremors and minor earthquakes here. But they continue here. The entire New Madrid Fault is literally on fire. The entire New Madrid Fault here is moving north to south. North to south, guys. Let's take a look at Rosedale, Indiana. Rosedale, Indiana, right here. Here in Indiana, until now, we haven't seen any tremors at all until today. That's because the USGS and the Seismic Agency turned off the seismographs. They turned off the seismographs. I showed you blank seismographs a month ago. They turned them off. They've had them off for about 3 months now. This is Roseland, or actually Rosedale, Indiana. Here you've seen tremors here on the northern New Madrid Fault here. The north part of the New Madrid Fault here in Rosedale, Indiana. Let's take a look at Rosedale, Indiana this afternoon. Look at this. Tiny tremors and microquakes here in Rosedale, Indiana. Okay? The New Madrid Fault is moving, guys. It's moving. Let's go over into Kentucky on the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault. Eastern side of the New Madrid Fault here. Let's look at Barwell, Kentucky. Look at this. Barwell, Kentucky, you see some minor tremors here and minor earthquakes. Minor tremors and minor earthquakes here on the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault. Craziness, guys. Craziness. The fault is moving. Now I want to go over to the east side of Kentucky. Eastern side, East Tennessee seismic zone next. We're going over to Fulgham, Tennessee, or Kentucky. Fulgham, Kentucky here. Look at this. Early this morning on the top line is 12 midnight on the left-hand side. You see a bunch of tremors and minor earthquakes here, or tremors and microquakes here, don't you? All over. What happens here mid-morning? Mid-morning, after 6 a.m. The tremors here continue. 7:15 this morning on the red line. Now we have minor earthquakes continuing here. Minor earthquakes beginning right here. Okay? 7:16 this morning. 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here. Then we have some minor tremors. And before that 15 minutes is over, we've had 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes here. Then, 7:44 this morning on the right-hand side of the blue line, we have a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake there on the blue line on the right-hand side. The next one, 9 a.m. this morning. 9 a.m. this morning, tremors. Tremors, guys. Tremors. 1.0 to 1.9 tremors here. 9:30 this morning, 9:31 this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Unreal. We drop down to the next green line after that. This time on the right-hand side. 9:58 a.m. this morning. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes here. 9:59. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake there. After that, we have 2.0 earthquakes here. The rest of the morning here. Fulton, Kentucky on the eastern side of Kentucky. This is the eastern Tennessee seismic zone. This is the southern part of the Eastern Continental Divide. The southern part of the Eastern Continental Divide here. Okay? We're not done. We're not done. Fulgham, Kentucky here this afternoon. This afternoon, the tremors continued, except in this case, 1:49 this morning, or this afternoon, 1:49 this afternoon. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here, 1:49. We drop down here after 2 p.m. Over here on the right-hand side after 2 p.m., this is also 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 2:11 this afternoon. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. I'm not done. The southern end of the the southern end of the Eastern Continental Divide is moving big time. Let's go over to Hickman, Kentucky now. Look at this. The Eastern Continental Divide is also moving here, the southern end. This is Eastern Kentucky, guys. Eastern Kentucky. Now, after 4 a.m. this morning, 3.0, 3.3 earthquake. 3.0, 3.3 earthquake. 4:11 a.m. this morning, another 3.3 earthquake here, back to back. Back to back. The rest of the morning, you see tremors and minor earthquakes here, and 3.0 small earthquakes here. Southeastern Tennessee seismic zone on the eastern side of the continent. Eastern Continental Divide on the southern end. Unreal. It doesn't stop, guys. It's not stopping, it's continuing. It's continuing, guys. Now I want to take you over to Louisiana, the southern end of the Continental Divide, or southern end of the Pneumatic Fault here. Southern end of the Pneumatic Fault, guys. Look what we have here. Nothing but tremors and microquakes. Nothing but tremors and microquakes here. The Ritter, Louisiana. We've seen small 3.0s. We've seen 2.0 earthquakes. We've seen tremors here before. That's what we're seeing here today. The Ritter, Louisiana, we're seeing tremors here all morning long. They happen. They happen. The Ritter, Louisiana, this afternoon, the same thing. Microquakes and tremors here. The far southern end of the pneumatic fault is also moving, but it's the tiny movement here is almost negligible. Almost negligible. It gets larger when it moves into Arkansas, northern Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, even over into southeastern Oklahoma. Happens. It's happening now. It's happening now. Okay? Now I want to take you over to Missouri. Now I'm going to take you over to Cape Girardeau, Missouri this morning. Cape Girardeau, Missouri is having nothing but tremors here. Look at this. This is what we showed you for the past few weeks. Nothing but tremors and minor earthquakes here. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Then, this afternoon, the same thing. Tiny tremors and microquakes here. Cape Girardeau. They get larger, guys. They get larger really quickly. Let's take you over to Charleston, Missouri now. Look at this. Early this morning on the top left-hand side is 12 midnight. Nothing much happens till later this morning, doesn't it? That's kind of typical, like I said before. Why? Because the seismologists plan it that way. They don't want to show us anything before they wake up and get going in the morning. They show this all the time. They don't want to have to explain anything before they wake up and have a cup of coffee. Here this morning, 8:10 a.m. this morning, tremors and minor earthquakes here. About a minute and a half. Tremors and minor earthquakes, 2.0 earthquakes. Then, come down here to 10 a.m. on the black line here. Again, we have tremors and a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake, and more tremors. 10:30 on the blue line, the same thing. Tremor activity. The next black line is 11 a.m. 1.9 tremor, 2.0 earthquake here. 2.2 earthquake at approximately 11:10 a.m. On the next red line, the far left-hand side on the red line is 11:15. 11:17, the tremors get going here. 1.2, 1.3 tremors. 11:18, 1.8 tremor. That's where it ends here. 1.8 tremors here. On the bottom green line here, we have 11:52 a.m. this morning. Tremor activity. Charleston, Missouri. Guess what? That continues this afternoon, but this afternoon we have some minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. At approximately 2:38 2:28 this afternoon. 2.2, 2.3 earthquake here. About 4 minutes later, 1.9, 2.0 earthquake. Charleston, Missouri. They get bigger here. Barker Cemetery, Missouri. What we used to see here in Barker Cemetery was just tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors 1.1 to 1.9, minor earthquakes 2.0, 2.6, 2.7, max. This morning here, we see some microquakes, we see some tiny 1.0, 1.1 tremors. We also see our first evidence of 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. You can see it here. The bottom green lines are 10:45 and 11:45 respectively at the bottom left. Barker Cemetery this morning. That changes this afternoon. Excuse me. Barker Cemetery this afternoon, look at this. Now, instead of just tremors, we have some minor earthquakes, and then 2:39 this morning, this afternoon, 2:39 this afternoon, 3.0 earthquake here. Actually, not 2:39, 2:34 this afternoon. Our first 3.0 earthquake here today. Barker Cemetery. These others are tremors and 2.0 earthquakes here. That's all they are. But this one at 2:34 is our first 3.0 earthquake here today at Barker Cemetery. They get larger. They get substantially larger here. Let's take a look at Homersville, Missouri. Look at this. Okay. Up at the top at midnight, again, they've turned down the seismograph. They've turned down the seismograph here. Okay. All we have here are microquakes and tremors here until later this morning. What happens? After 9 a.m., what happens here? 3.0 earthquakes happen. 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes hit here. They continue to hit here all morning long. All morning long. Now they may have started at approximately 8:48 this morning on the top green line you see here near the bottom. 8:48, 8:49 this morning, we have, I believe, 3.0 earthquake there. Then we come across to 3:51 a.m., or not 3:53, I'm sorry, 8:53 this morning. Then again at 8:58 this morning again on the right-hand side of the green line. 8:51, 8:50, 8:55, 8:54, again at 8:58, 3.0 earthquakes. After that, 3.0 earthquakes off and on all morning long. 3 hours of earthquakes, 3 hours of small earthquakes here. Where else have we seen this? Decatur, Illinois. Decatur, Illinois has had them so far. Earthquakes just like that. It happened again this afternoon, except the earthquakes tired down here. Here this afternoon here at Homersville, Missouri, these are all tremors and minor earthquakes. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors, and minor earthquakes 2.0, 2.4. That's what we're seeing here. All afternoon long so far. Until I pull the seismograph. They happen. Quantum, Missouri this afternoon. This is the center of the pneumatic fault, by the way. The center part of the pneumatic fault on the fault. On the fault. Quantum, Missouri here. Again, for the first part of the morning, all we've seen are 1.1, 1.2 tremors here. But that changes That changed about 6 a.m. this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 o'clock this morning. Prior to 6:03, all we saw were microquakes and tremors. Then we saw 2.0 activity, 2.5, 2.6 activity. Then before it's over, at approximately 6:08 this morning, all of a sudden we now have a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. After that, we have tremors for the next hour. Then we drop down here to 7 a.m. on the black line. First part of this is just tremor activity. Between 7:01 and 7:02, we have 2.0 earthquakes there. Building up to 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes here. Then it dies off again to tremor activity here the rest of the morning. Quantum, Missouri. Now, guys, if you remember back several weeks ago, we had 3.0 small earthquake activity here. Quantum, Missouri. Central Missouri on the Pneumatic Fault Zone. This afternoon, we had nothing but tremors here. Quantum, Missouri. Okay. Now I'm going to take you to Morrison, Missouri. Morrison, Missouri. Southeastern Missouri. Southeastern Missouri on the Pneumatic Fault. What do we see here again? The same thing we see on other seismographs. Tremors happening before the seismologists return to work. 4 hours of tremor activity. Then they start returning to work, and all of a sudden we see larger tremor activity here. Then we start seeing 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. Minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. Look what happens the rest of the morning. 5 hours. 5 hours of 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 minor earthquakes here in Morrison, Missouri. USGS is not talking about it. Every once in a while they say, oh, Morrison, Missouri's had a 2.2. Morrison, Missouri's had a 2.0 or a 1.6 tremor. That's all they will ever mention on the USGS map. I'm showing you right now what is going on the Pneumatic Fault today. What has happened on the Pneumatic Fault today? The Pneumatic Fault has had major movement, literally all morning long. All morning long and sometimes into the afternoon as well. Ongoing. This is Morrison, Missouri this morning. Morrison, Missouri this afternoon, the same thing happened here. Okay? You're seeing some tremors. You're seeing some 2.0 earthquakes. You're seeing some 3.0 earthquakes here. 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes here. Morrison, Missouri. Now, guys, I will tell you this. This doesn't always happen this way in Morrison, Missouri. Sometimes here at Morrison, things are either turned down or they don't happen. The seismograph is either turned down or doesn't happen at all. Because I pulled seismographs here at Morrison, Missouri before, and all they are here are microquakes and some small, tiny tremors. That's all. But today, the entire Pneumatic Fault was on fire. It opened up. It opened up, guys. This is important. This is very important to everybody that lives over here on the Pneumatic Fault. I've been warning about this. I've been warning about this for a very long time. Now, I want to take you over to Pemiscot Bayou, Missouri. Pembascott Bayou, Missouri this morning. Look at this. Okay, the same thing kind of thing has been seen on other seismographs here. We don't see anything until later in the morning. But this morning, 4:17 this morning, we see our first 3.0 earthquake. After that, we see tremors. We see minor 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes all morning long. There may be 3.0 earthquake activity here, but most of it is just minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes here at Pembascott, Missouri. Pembascott Bayou, Missouri, on the Pneumatic Fault, the western side of the Pneumatic Fault here in Missouri. Okay? I've been telling you I'm going to show it to you, and I am. This is Pembascott, Missouri this afternoon. Nothing but tremors here except for one place. After 12:43 this afternoon, 2.0, 2.2 earthquake here. That's all. Pembascott Bayou, Missouri. The center part of the Pneumatic Fault here in Missouri. On the Mississippi River, on the western side of the Pneumatic Seismic Zone. The whole seismic zone is moving. Now, I want to take you over to Portageville, Missouri. Portageville, Missouri, guys, look at this. Here in Portageville, we usually see some 3.0 activity here in the morning. But what we're seeing here is the same thing we've been seeing on the early mornings on almost every seismograph. Almost every seismograph. They turn them way down. They turn the machines way down so they don't record much of anything. Then when they come in, they start turning them back up. Here you see nothing but tremors here. Portageville, Missouri. Usually here in the morning area, this morning area on the seismogram, you see 3.0 earthquakes here at Portageville. Not today. That's because I think they turned the seismograph down. They turned the seismograph machine down. Portageville this afternoon. Different story. Look at this. This afternoon we have minor tremors. Yes, they are. They're here. 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors. We're also seeing 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes here as well. From 12 noon until after 2:25 this afternoon. 2:25 this afternoon is when I pulled this seismogram. Incredible. Incredible, guys. This is what is happening here. Ongoing. I want to go over to the East Tennessee seismic zone again. This time, Hopper, Tennessee. This also is a southern part of the Eastern Continental Divide. Look at this. We see tremors. We see minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. We are also seeing some 3.0, 3.3 activity here. This morning. After 10:30 and 11:30 this morning. Look at that. 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes here. Small earthquakes this morning. Hopper, Tennessee. The East Tennessee seismic zone. On the southern end of the Eastern Continental Divide. Craziness, huh? It really is. Hopper, Tennessee this afternoon. Didn't stop. Yes, you're still seeing 1.0 to 1.3 tremors here. You're still seeing 2.0, 2.7 earthquakes here. But after 2 p.m. this afternoon, 2 p.m. this afternoon, we're seeing 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes here. 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes here after 2 p.m. this afternoon. Yeah. Then 3:02, 3 p.m., 3:02 p.m., 3.0 earthquake. 3:03, 3.0 earthquake again. Guys, yes, I pulled this diagram after about 3:06. This kind of activity is still probably happening now. Now, we are in the Eastern time zone at 6:30 p.m. 3 hours later, these earthquakes is probably still happening. Probably still happening. Let's go over to Glass, Tennessee. This time on the western side of Tennessee, right next to the New Madrid Fault. Glass, Tennessee, look at this. Tremors, yes, you've seen those. All kinds of tremors here in Glass, Tennessee. In previous months, we had 3.0 earthquakes here in Glass, Tennessee during the morning and afternoon. Again, the earthquakes are not just on the western side of the New Madrid Fault, they're on the east as well. They're on the east as well. That's Glass, Tennessee. Okay? Glass, Tennessee this afternoon. Very busy, isn't it? Like I said, the New Madrid Fault is moving in a big way. Moving in a big way. The activity is not just in one location. Up and down the entire New Madrid Fault. Up and down the entire New Madrid Fault, guys. Let's go over to northwestern Tennessee to Ridgely, Tennessee here. Ridgely, Tennessee. Earlier this week, USGS had 1.2, 1.0, and 1.7 tremors here in Ridgely, Tennessee. Look what we're having here. Tremors all day long. But this time, USGS did not show them on the map. They were negligent showing these on the map. They were negligent not showing earthquakes of any kind on the New Madrid seismic zone. The New Madrid seismic zone has been very busy today, up and down the entire fault line. The east side of the fault line and the west side of the fault line. Very, very busy. Ridgely, Tennessee this afternoon, the same thing. Very busy. It's not stopping. One other place that they had one earthquake, one tremor at Tiptonville, Tennessee earlier this week. Look at this. Yes, we have tremors here in Tiptonville, Tennessee. In fact, at 6:56, actually 6:57 this morning on the green line. Either 1.9, 2.0 earthquake there on the green line there. Tiptonville, Tennessee. Yes, we've had plenty of tremors here in Tiptonville, Tennessee as well. Look out, guys. Look out. The whole place is moving here. The entire fault line is moving here. Tiptonville, Tennessee this afternoon as well. The fault line is moving. I've shown it moving before. Now, I want to show you mist in Tennessee today as well, this morning. Missed in Tennessee this morning. Look at this. Tremors and minor earthquakes here later this morning. All morning long after 12 midnight until approximately 9:30 this morning, all we had were tiny tremors here. After that, the tremors got bigger. 2.3, 2.4, 1.99 tremors here. Yeah. That's what happened here in Mississippi, Tennessee. Mississippi, Tennessee this afternoon, the same thing. Look at that. But this afternoon, we had 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here as well. The entire New Madrid fault is moving, and moving in a big way. Moving in a big way, guys. The entire fault. Do you guys have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? I know this is a lot to take in. Now, I'm already past my time here. I don't want to go on to 2 to 3 hours of time here. I have more explaining to do when it comes to the East Coast. The East Coast is also on fire. We've had 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes on the Eastern Continental Divide and over near the shoreline of the East Coast. Small earthquakes up and down the East Coast. Okay? I'm talking about Georgia. I'm talking about South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. 4 states. 4 states with tremors, minor earthquakes, and 3.0 earthquakes all day long. All day long. Okay? That's what's happening. Okay? Now, with that said, as I said before about the New Madrid fault, USGS has it in their notes that the New Madrid fault is not going to go for 25 to 50 years. In the 7 years I've been on the air now, next week it will be 7 years, April 3rd. I will have been on the air. Guys, we have gone from just tremors, 1.0 to 1.5 tremors, maybe 1.7 tremors, all the way up to 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes on the New Madrid fault. That's what's happening now. I've shown it to you today. Earthquakes are happening all over the fault line. Why am I saying this? Guys, if you have family or you yourself live on the New Madrid fault, you need to get ready. You need to get ready right now. I don't think we have more than 2 years before we're going to see another 8.1 earthquake here on the New Madrid fault. If it's after that, might be only a small time period after that. I think we're going to have an 8.1 earthquake on the New Madrid fault in the next 2 years. Now, why am I saying that? Back 200 years ago, 1810, 1811, they said at that time it was possibly a 7.1. Now, the scientists are saying it was probably an 8.0, 8.1 earthquake. That's going to be amplified even more now. Back in the day, the New Madrid seismic zone from north to south was located on the fault zone, but it was very sparsely populated. Up and down from north to south, maybe 700, 800 people. Maybe. Now there's probably close to 67 million people living up and down the fault zone. Why am I concerned? Because everybody's going to get hurt. People are going to get hurt. People here on the New Madrid fault zone are going to be unalived. They're going to be unalived. USGS is saying there's going to be 1,800 people unalived. Now, the scientists are now saying it's going to be a lot more than that. Probably several thousand, up to 13,000, 15,000 people are going to be unalived after the earthquake hits. after the 8.0, 8.1 earthquake hits. There's going to be fires. There's going to be fires. These great big, huge, long fault pipelines running up and down the fault and across the fault are going to rupture. Gas pipelines, not just petroleum pipelines, but natural gas pipelines are also running up and down the fault and across the fault. When this earthquake happens, these pipelines are going to burst. There are going to be explosions and fires as well. There's not going to be any water either. Water pipes are going to be broken as well. Water pipelines are going to be broken. Water mains are going to be broken up and down the fault. There's not going to be any water to fight the fires except through the air. Either aircraft, planes, or helicopters dropping water put out the fires. Food and goods up and down the fault are going to be disrupted. If there's any food left in the stores, there's going to be looters robbing that food from the stores. Not going to be available. You guys living along the fault need to prepare now. You need to buy or purchase emergency preparedness kits now. Now, build your own preparedness kits on this channel alone. On this channel alone, you can go back through our archives here on YouTube. Anything it has on Fridays or any other time where it has emergency preparedness in the title of the program, go back and listen to that program. You're going to hear about emergency supply kits. You're going to hear about first aid kits. You're going to hear about getting water and how to store water, how to store other goods as well. We talk about it. The other thing you need to know is how to write an emergency preparedness plan. I've got that information on past programs as well. Anytime you see emergency preparedness in the title of the program or preparedness plans, go watch that program. It's available. I'm going to continue putting out programs for as long a time as I possibly can. But guys, this earthquake is going to happen. I've proven it today. Proven it today. The seismic energy is there. The seismic energy is there, and it's increasing on a daily basis. From down in the Gulf of America, all the way up into Illinois and Indiana, up and down the fault. It's moving. It's moving. Rich Quakes here in the channel in the chat saying he believes the Newfoundland fault line is overdue for something big as well. I agree. Newfoundland is going to be hitting a huge earthquake. Going to be getting it. It's a matter of time. Matter of time. Why do I say that? Over on the East Coast, we have the Atlantic Fault. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding like this from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is pushing Greenland, Canada, the United States, and northern Mexico, and even South America in a southwesterly direction. The Atlantic Fault line is also pushing the East Coast, not the East Coast. It's pushing Europe and Africa in an easterly direction. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. That's going to cause earthquakes. That's going to cause all kinds of mayhem, not just here in the Western world, but also in Europe. Europe. Earlier this week, we reported a 2.3 earthquake in England, central England this time. West Central England, 2.3 earthquake, guys. We don't do that very often because we haven't found those kinds of earthquakes. We did find one earlier this week. Happens. Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, and Finland has also had earthquakes. We've shown you earthquakes all over Europe. Literally. Africa's been having earthquakes as well. USGS doesn't want to report them because they don't want anybody to be worried. Don't want anybody to be concerned. Guess what? Don't listen to USGS. Don't listen to them. They are wrong. They're wrong. Rich Quake says, how many would an event like unalive in modern times? Modern times, we're talking about millions of people being unalive. Millions. Along the pneumatic fault, 6 to 7 million people are going to die. Yeah. Before it's all said and done, because of what happened on the pneumatic fault, 6 to 7 million people are going to be affected, and possibly that many people will die. Yeah. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Guys, this is Friday. Preparedness Friday. I've told you what is happening over in Washington State, what is still happening in Washington State yesterday and today. I've told you about the pneumatic fault. I've told you what's happening on the East Coast. I didn't get to show you what's happening on the East Coast, but I told you what's happening on the East Coast. Get prepared. Get prepared now. We're not going to have much more time. Now, before we leave you, Easter Sunday is coming up next Sunday. This coming Sunday is called Palm Sunday. I've been talking about Jesus Christ for the past 2 weeks. I'm going to continue it until after Easter Sunday's over. I want to show you this movie put together by my church. Greater love hath no man than he laid down his life for his son. This is the end times of Jesus Christ. We're talking about the end times of Jesus Christ, the end of his life. Watch this short video here, about 2 minutes long.
How did he do it? How did he get up again after collapsing under a burden so great he bled from every pore? How did he not fight back when he was beaten and mocked? How did he not give up when they nailed him to a cross?
Shalane.
How did he endure to the very end, until his father's work was finished?
Mariam.
How he did it is also why he did it. You are loved. Loved by a loving Heavenly Father who loves you so much that he sent his beloved Son. His Son willingly suffered for your sins and felt your pain and heartache. The joy that sustained him in his suffering was his love for you. Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ, all will live again. Through his compassion, no one is forgotten. Because of him, you can experience a fullness of joy. This is greater love. This is Easter.
That's Easter. Palm Sunday is a Sunday. So guys, I would invite you to go to church on Sunday to experience Palm Sunday. I would also encourage you to read your scriptures. Find out as much as you possibly can about our Savior Jesus Christ. If you're anywhere near me, join me at my church on Sunday. Go to church with me. I would encourage you to do so. Go to church. Gain a testimony of Jesus Christ for yourself. And also impart that knowledge to your children, your brothers and sisters, and all of your family. Make sure they are aware of Jesus Christ in their lives, how Jesus Christ can affect their lives, to bring them much happiness and joy throughout their lives. May God bless us this day and always. May God bless us that we may have that joy in our own lives. I bear you my testimony. I know that Jesus Christ lives, hears and answers our prayers. I know that for a fact. I'm asking you to gain a testimony of yourself for yourself. May God bless you and be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good night, guys. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Actually, no, we're not. We'll see you on Sunday afternoon at about 12:30 in the afternoon for our Sunday school class called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, our Palm Sunday Sunday school class. Sunday at 12:30 p.m. on the same channel here. Join us there. If anything happens between now and then, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Till then, have a good night, guys. Take care. We love you very much. Enjoy your evening. Love you. God be with you until we meet again. See you soon.
Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. Make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with no management truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here.